everywhere for us on the field. So good job, Allison. Well deserved. Honorable mention, September Crum. And our captain, our mama, head captain, I call her mama because she takes care of all the kids, Jalissa Castillo. So again, very proud of you. Let's keep working. Let's keep working.
All right. All right, we're going to get a picture now, so y'all stay put, ladies.
Little ones up front. Miley? Miley?
A bunch in there tight.
I know.
Okay, at this time, boys soccer. Come on in, boys soccer. Come in, coach. Gentlemen. Guys, y'all can just come around, stand up here up front and face the audience. And then, coach, you got the mic there. I'll just kind of spread out a little bit. There you go. Awesome. All right. Okay, coach, floor's yours.
All right. Well, thank you for having us here. As you can see, I have just about half my team. Well, not even. We had 17, but a lot of them worked, so it was kind of a rough season towards the end. But I will say one thing: these guys, they played hard. They gave it their all. We had a lot of improvement. We lost a lot. Well, we didn't lose a lot of bodies, but what we did lose was a lot of what I call IQ-wise. So, but what we lost in IQ, we made up for in hustle. So I'm proud of these guys to make it back for the second year to playoffs. So I'd just like to congratulate them on that. All right, so first off, we'll start with first team. First team goes to one of my seniors. He's played a phenomenal season. He got hurt and was out a couple games, but he came back strong. Jose Garcia. And another first team. He got he's not here. He got a offensive newcomer of the year, co-offensive newcomer of the year, Mr. Mario Marquez. Oh, you'll get it, don't worry. For second team, we have our captain. He also got hurt. Couldn't play as well as he wanted to or as much as he wanted to, but he was still there time and time again. And the team really looked up to him, even though he's one of the shortest ones on the team. They still looked up to him. James Valdez. Another second team, another senior who's not here, Victor Rios. He's another one who could have been captain and stepped up. People looked up to, but he was like the silent type. He just led by example. He didn't say much at all. And for honorable mention, sophomore, he played last year. He came on as a freshman last year towards the end of the season. He played most of JV. But when I saw his speed and his desire to play, I decided he earned the right to play, and he started my sweeper this year, Mr. Rafael Cerda. And the other honorable mention, Stuart Posada, another sophomore who's not here. He's made tremendous talented kid, and he's going to do a lot for us next year, I'm hoping. So not much that we see here, but very talented crew. They can do big things once they get their mind set to it. So thank you all.
Congratulations, gentlemen. All right, let's get a picture.
We're gonna go to item number 21, consider approval of TSA student travel to Orlando, Florida Nationals. Our presenters are Kim Buck and Brooke Reeve.
All right, so we are coming today to talk to you guys. We just finished TSA State, and I'm going to let Ms. Reeve talk a little bit about how we did after she gets her stuff put back together. But this is a picture from State, so as you can see, TSA continues to grow. We'll talk numbers. She has numbers for you guys. And then the ones holding their banners, those are kids who got first place in State. And so we had several kids on the stage, but the ones that are holding banners, they receive first place out of this whole state of Texas for TSA. So we did budget for this. We knew going in that we had kids that would make it, and so we're not asking for money. We're just asking for approval to move forward and take these kids to Orlando, Florida. And I'll let Ms. Reeve give you all the details.
So the one thing that's not really, you can't see it, but the middle school won first in our Division 1. So there's different divisions, and we finally won first. We've been second for several years now, and we crushed the other middle schools. So we felt really good.
Yes, we did.
Just to give y'all some numbers, we are growing in both middle school and the high school. So we had 72 students at regionals in 37 events, and 54 students in high school in 27 events. From there, we went to state. We kind of cannibalize ourselves, kind of dwindle it down. So we had 53 students in middle school in 36 events, and 31 students in high school in 16 events. That's where we had 4 first place, 2 middle school, 2 high school. So our middle school was mass production and biotech, and our high school was structural engineering and technology problem solving. And now at nationals, we have 34 that have the possibilities of advancing in 18 events, and 14 in high school in 5 events. And we will also be shoving them into other events because I keep them busy. Busy kids are less trouble. So there's leadership training sessions, general sessions, and networking time all built in. So it is a conference and a competition all at the same time. So.
And we will be happy to answer any questions y'all may have.
How many are you totally taking?
48. Is
That's
the,
high school and middle school?
yes, and that's our max number. We're waiting on some rubrics to pass some through. So they placed, but I have double standards. So they place, and then their rubric, they have to score 85% or higher.
Yeah, we don't, it's expensive, so we don't want to take them if their project isn't ready. So she had higher standards than what
Yes.
what would normally get them there, so. And we should have those rubrics back at the end of this week.
Yes.
And so we'll have to be able to finalize the number, but right now, there's the possibility of that many kiddos. So what did we take last year?
28. So we almost doubled. We will take 34 no matter what.
Yeah.
There's 34 that are 100% top 3 going. So
There may be 10 more or 11 more.
there's a flux in there that's about 14. So 5 from high school and 9 from middle school that are in limbo.
And y'all have all the money raised, y'all are just looking to go?
Yes, ma'am, we budgeted last year for it. We are, for the kids to be able to do some of the other things, it is Orlando. We're not going to Disney, but for them to be able to do some other things. CEN actually asked us to host a robotics competition. They usually do it in Roscoe, and we're more centrally located, so they are going to run concession stand and all of that to try and raise like some money for the kids to be able to do other things. But as far as hotel and all of that, we budgeted for all of that already, so that money is already in the budget.
What's the date on that again?
June 26th through June 30th, but we'll have to fly back on the 1st.
June 26th through the,
June 30th.
July the
yes,
1st.
I was
or
gonna say the
June
first.
July
Yeah,
1st.
we'll fly
yeah,
back
we'll
on
be
the
back on the
1st,
1st. But the
so.
conference is the 26th through the 30th.
To the 30th.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a motion? I'll make a motion that we approve the TSA student travel to Orlando. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Katie. All in favor? Motion passes.
Thank y'all. The kids work very hard on this all year long, so we appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll go to item number 7, presentation of campus reports and recognition.
All right. Okay, so for Venus Primary School, our teacher of the month is Miss Leonard. Most of y'all know her. She's exceptional. She does not go a moment without having a smile on her face. She embodies what it means to be positive, to be creative with all our students and those most challenging students in the classroom. Her commitment to the primary school, to the students, is just fantastic. And so super excited that she is Teacher of the Month. She deserves it. And our staff member of the month is Miss Coach Sardui. We love having her. She is in our second year here as a PE aide for us. She is a tremendous asset. She is versatile, flexible, has a smile on her face. If I ask her to go sub, she'll do it. If I ask her to do duty, she does it. And so we just love having her on campus. And she's also in school to become a teacher. So those are what we want. And then student of the month is Aaron Middleton. He is in Mr. Williams' first grade class. Miss Fira and Mr. Williams will say that he is the perfect student, and he is. He is the biggest role model for every other kid. He's always smiling. He does everything that he should be doing, and so he's well deserving of this award. And then there are some pictures of some field trips that have been happening this last month. We have Life Skills and our ECSC friends. They went to Country Critters in Alvarado, so they had a great day on a farm. And then kindergarten went to Dinosaur World, so they had a wonderful trip there. And then I included some pictures of some of our first graders at home enjoying the solar eclipse. So I think that was, every kid walked in that day and said, "Oh, Miss Ortiz, I got to see it with my parents." So thank y'all for having that day off, because it actually gave us an opportunity to spend time with our families. Coming up, we got kindergarten graduation. That is a full week where we host graduations during the day every morning. So that's really exciting to have parents in the building. We have first grade music program. Pre-K is headed to the Waco Zoo. We are going to do a first grade fun day here at Fielder Park this next Friday. So it's just a celebration for them before they move on to second grade. We have field day and then our end of year party. So like the secondary world, we stay busy at the primary too. Thank you.
Ms. Ortiz, when is your pre-K and kinder roundup?
Oh, it is going to be May 9th. We are going to do it on a Thursday. We are working, Ms. Price and I are working on the publication of it, the advertisement of it. And we are going to do it during a school day, and it's going to be in our gym. And so we'll let visitors enter in the back gym, and we're going to make it a fun day, and hopefully we'll have a lot of people on board to help us. So something different than on a Friday or a Saturday. So we're excited to see our numbers. Oh, I left it out there.
Oh, it's okay. She has a really cool sign for pre-K students that says "Future Bulldog" to go in their yard. So super cute. I wish she had it in here. Okay, at the elementary school, it feels like it was a really quick turnaround, but the first thing that we have is I have what's off of her Facebook post, but Angela Del Rio came to Venus Elementary. We were one of 20 schools that were chosen out of a Facebook contest for them to come and talk to us about the solar eclipse. She's one of Channel 23's meteorologists. And you would think she had been an educator, because we had over 300 students in the cafeteria, and they were quiet as could be unless she asked them a question. And if they got a little loud, she got them right back on topic. But they were so excited. They asked so many good questions about the perspective and how does the moon that's smaller cover the sun. They asked her all kinds of questions. Why does the sun rise in the east and set in the west, but the eclipse is going from the west to the east? So they had so many great questions for her, and she just loved our campus. She even wore blue and gold the next day, even though she had gone to 2 other schools that day also. She represented Venus for us. And she said, "It's so pretty out here. Y'all have fields everywhere." She just was amazed that we had fields. But she talked to them about coming from Mexico. She gave them information about how Mexico does not have a national weather service, and that's why she came to the States to learn meteorology so that she could help back home with meteorology there, that they're trying to learn things and have better systems in place for bad weather, for severe weather coming in, because, and I didn't know that other countries didn't have a national weather service. Like, I thought that was worldwide, and it is not. So she talked with kids. There were lots of our kids that watched their newscast on TV, and so they were just like starstruck. So she took pictures, she did autographs. I mean, they stayed. It was great. Laura Price was able to talk to the guy that came with her. I don't remember his name, JP. But he does a lot of communications and gave us information. So we've talked to them about maybe coming out to the Back to School Bash and being more involved in our community, since we have such a large Hispanic population. But she was like, anytime you want me to come back, just let me know and I'll work it in my schedule. So it was a great day for 4th and 5th grade. I wish they could have stayed longer and seen all of our kids, but they were on a really tight schedule. So yeah, if they didn't have to go anywhere else, I think she would have stayed all day. But it was amazing presentation for our students. And then we celebrated our paraprofessionals on Paraprofessional Day, and we could not do what we do without them. So we have them spread out all over the building. Oh, went away. There you go. And then we have a lot of field trips coming up, so we'll have pictures of that to come. And then our of the month. Our support staff teacher of the month was Jennifer Royston, and she is a resource teacher. I hired Mrs. Royston when she came on. She taught gen ed, then she went to special ed. She also has her dyslexia certification, so she kind of has lots of knowledge under her hat and does an amazing job with helping our students and making sure they get what they need, and she is one of their biggest advocates. And then our teacher of the month was Caitlin Inslee, and this is her first year here at Venus, and she said, I never want to leave. I'm a Venus Bulldog through and through. I love this campus. I love my kids, and she has been a great addition to our 2nd grade team. And our student of the month is Cade Verdell, and it just so happened that Coach Verdell happened to be on our campus, so he got to go down to the room with us and present Cade with his of the month certificate. And I'll tell you, it's funny, afterwards I was talking to some of the kids, and it talks in here about what a great kid he is, and about his quick wit and humor, and he always has a smile on his face, and he literally does. And so I asked one of the kids, so do you think all that stuff I said about him, do you think that's true? And he goes, yeah, I feel like I've known him my whole life. And I'm like, well, you're 9. But anyway, but the Verdell children have been a wonderful addition to our campus. And so we love having them. And I think that's it, because it was a quick turnaround. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right. So here at the middle school, you'll love those pictures. We'll start with Teacher of the Month was actually Brooke Reeve. She had to run. And I'm going to read it so that I don't miss anything. Always gives 100% of herself to our campus. She teaches STEM, 2 different grade levels of honors science. She coordinates the coaching for TSA for both middle school and high school students. She's a student council sponsor and the science department head. And that's a lot of things. But although she has a lot of things, she does them all very well. She works hard to build relationships both with her kids and parents, and is an outstanding example of a bulldog. So our support staff of the month was Miss Casel, Kathy Casel. She works in our ISS room, but always works hard to make sure that it's a positive environment for students. She does a great service on our campus and working with students, and really tries to teach them about character and academics. And she does a fabulous job. Our student of the month is Vianney Fernandez. She works hard to maintain excellent grades. She's an honor student in all the honors classes that we offer. She always has a smile on her face and willing to help her peers or teachers with any task. And they said she embodies the true spirit of what a bulldog should be. All right, things going on. As you heard earlier, we had state TSA competition. I think when I put this on here, we hadn't actually had it yet, but we had that. And last month, you heard about the Taffy and those girls going to national. I wasn't here, so that's been fabulous too. Band competed, And so in UIL and concert and sight reading, they took sweepstakes on the middle school level. Since we turned this in, choir has also gone to competition. Theirs was a non-UIL competition, but they got all ones, and so that was fabulous. We hosted fifth grade family night this last week, and so our Avid kids took the fifth grade parents on tours of the building and talked to them about expectations. We had our Honor Society induction ceremony, and that went really well. We had lots of kids and parents there. That's about it. I mean, it's like she said, it was a quick turnaround, but we have lots of things coming up. In May, we have the robotics competition, which will be the first time we've ever hosted anything that big. So a little nervous, but hey, come by, see how it goes. So, but you know, STAR testing's going on, MAP testing's coming up, all that good stuff. Any questions? All right, Mr. Camacho, it's you.
Well, I do agree that we've been kind of busy. I think all four of us have been busy, but I think my weeks are turning into blurs at the high school. We've got a lot going on. We're going to start with Teacher of the Month, and that goes to Mr. Kearley. I stole Mr. Kearley from the DAP Center, actually. That's what he used to do. And when I would go out there, when I taught and I'd go out there, I noticed how well he visits with kids and how he gets their attention. But he currently teaches PE and health. He also monitors some of our dual credit classes. But I think what is special about him is he's strict, but within his demeanor, he develops that relationship with kids. You know, so doesn't matter if they have him or not, they know who he is. So he's a good person to have up there. For Staff Member of the Month is Michelle Smith. She's our cafeteria manager, and she puts on a production. And what I mean by that is she not only serves us food day in and day out, she serves specialty themes, everything from Black History Month to themes for the students to get into their meal as they go through. She also helps us out with the Shine, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about Shine. And so she serves kids not only in that cafeteria, but outside of the cafeteria. It's all about, you know, getting the student fed, and she does it in a great manner. She's a joy to have. Okay, your Student of the Month, excuse me, Braylon Allen. If you've been to one of our events, you know Braylon. He shows up at every event to support his classmates. He volunteers in the life skills class. The great thing about him, he's one of those kids that will do the right thing every single time. So if I need a go-to answer, I go ask Braylon. But he is on student council, and he is the sophomore class treasurer. So great kid. Some of our highlights, I feel like this is not current, so we're going to catch you up. You get to track, you see some of the area qualifiers, and you met most of them on the soccer teams when they came through a little bit ago. From the area qualifiers, you have Valerie Miranda, who qualified in the 800 meters to go to regionals, and she'll be at UNT Friday, I think at 1:52-ish. That girl has one gear. If I could run like her, well, I might not even go there. Okay, and then we have the boys side, the 4x100, and I think, most of them, or two of them, were on the soccer team as well. You have Mario Marquez Laboy, you have Gabriel Marquez, Markalen Noxon, and Donovan Suggs, and they will be going also to regionals, and I believe they run Friday at 4 o'clock at UNT. So expecting big things from them. The next one is our TSA that Ms. Buck talked to you about. And I have one of these young men I had in my English class, but Ms. Buck, I want you to know that every day he come across the street, he'd come to me with this structure, and it'd say, "I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win." So he, before the last day, he came in and set it on my desk and explained it to me. I thought, and he did win. So I told him we would present it. For structural design and engineering, Gabriel Cervantes and Juan Guijarro are on their way to Florida. And for technical problem solving, Gabriel Cervantes and Noemi Ochoa are on their way to Florida as well. It's always exciting to see how involved and how articulate they can be about what they're building. Our next event was our Spanish AP classes. Our Spanish AP classes went to the Meadows Art Museum in SMU. And in class, they're studying beauty and aesthetics, which is only one section out of 6 AP topics. They viewed and interpreted works by Diego Velázquez and Salvador Dali using thematic vocabulary. So I'm proud of that group. We're waiting to see how our AP testing goes because it's coming up. And the last thing I mentioned just a bit ago, Shine. Shine is a nonprofit community founded by Shana Russell Peacock. And when we started talking about this thing last year, I thought, we already have a food pantry, so I don't know how this is going to work. Well, it works. She brings us food, and the old girls' weight room has been cleaned out. And I don't know if you can tell, we have a full store in there. And when I say full store, they have their freezers with the meat, and they have their chips, bread, the whole store. And she brings it to us. We started off with about 8 kids. We're up to about 20. And she said if we have more kids, she'll make arrangements and she'll, see what we can do. But the fact is that there are 66 hours between students' lunch on a Thursday or a Friday by the time they get back to us on Monday. So when I asked her why she does it, she said it's because kids should have other things to worry about other than where their next meal is going to come from. So this thing has gotten bigger, and if it keeps going like I think it's going to go, with our kiddos and the way she matches up with us, we may need a bigger room next year because that thing is really taken off. So, but Ms. Smith, our cafeteria manager, and Ms. Elliott, our new AP, have kind of taken that project over, so it's growing, and the kids know it's growing, and I was kind of leery about, how are these kids going to take it, having to go in and come out. They take it fine. So my hope is that at some time we get these kids used to it and the parents used to it, because we have a roll-up, that the parent can come in, with their vehicle and go through the store and take what the parent thinks they need. But it's kind of funny because I have one little girl that comes through, she has a shopping list, and I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "This is my mom's shopping list, so I have to go home with these items." So I thought, okay, we're right on point, so I really like that. Okay, for the upcoming events, we're all right in the middle of start. We have the Fine Arts Night on the 22nd, and I know if you've been there, it's quite a show. I think both middle school, well, all of us are getting ready to go. So, and then we have prom on the 26th. We have our VHS Career Day on May the 2nd. We have our Cinco de Mayo on the 4th. And we have our AP testing. The window is May the 6th through the 17th. Any questions? No?
I have one question for you, Mr. Camacho. Sorry, on the Shine program, how do we identify students? Like, how do we go about, identifying students who need that? How is that communicated? How do we get those kids and families involved?
What happens is usually another student or a teacher will make us aware of the situation. You look at their category, because you can't really look at how they're coded, because families fall on hard times at different times. So we visit with the student, and then we visit with the family, to verify as we go through there, because some of them are low SES, some of them are not. They're just having a difficult time. So we do pull that parent in because you want to verify that they need it, for one, and that they're actually going to use it. So most of the time, the way it rolled out was we started off with those 3 or 4, and then usually that parent suggested someone else, another parent. So basically, it's how we identify them.
We'll go to item number 8, discussion regarding open lunch for parents.
Okay, this was an item that was requested to be on our agenda, just kind of moving forward, and so I wanted to gather a little bit of history. Really since COVID it started, as you guys know, unfortunately, some ways it seems like yesterday, some ways it doesn't. But everything had to be shut down per state regulations and the law, et cetera, et cetera. And since then, gradually, we have opened up campuses for different celebrations that we do, whether it be for Christmas or for Thanksgiving, Grandparents' Day, et cetera, et cetera. And so what we want to be able to do is, most importantly, is have our parents welcome and be able to come in and eat with their kids and do some of those things. So prior to this, on my understanding, prior to me being here, was that everything shut down, and then just gradually, once all those policies, if you were, laws were no longer on the books, then you've seen things come back little by little as necessary. And so one of the things that's been requested is to have an opportunity for a parent to come have lunch with their student during the day. And so it's open for anybody who has a comment or
I just would like to say, when my children were small and still wanted me around, that was always something that was just awesome, to be able to go and have lunch with my kids, I really liked that a lot. So I think if that's something that we can do, I think that's great.
Anybody else have any questions or comments about that at all?
I mean, is it just limited to lunches or visits or volunteerism or?
Well, the prior practice, I'd have to probably research and see what all that was specifically by not being here. I know a common practice is usually coming at lunchtime. If someone wants to come at lunchtime, to make sure, because there is a long process or procedure, we have to check their IDs. They have to make sure they know where they're going. Typically, as an administrator, you want to know who's in your building, so you want to be able to walk up there or have someone to make sure they're coming down to the cafeteria for that. So regarding lunchtime, now as far as volunteers coming in and wanting to support, my experience with that is once again, that's something that's organized with campuses, principals, some PTO groups, where folks will come in and sign up to volunteer, to say, I want to come in and I want to make copies, or I want to be able to, staple things, whatever. I need you to laminate. The list kind of goes on. We know that definitely when we've got parents that are able to come and help and support, I know as a principal, always like that when they would come in and help us wherever we needed in our areas. And so that's something, I don't know the prior practice before, but that's also something that we can look into doing. And as we get ready to roll into next year, that's something that we can have in our student handbook, and that can be communicated out. That way it's very clear, expectations from the staff and then the parents of the volunteers that want to come in.
I think anything we can do to help support our teachers and our educators, to have somebody come in and help, would be great.
Yeah,
Well, anything we can do to involve the parents would be good.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that's a great idea. I've got, our principals are here, and I'm kind of looking at, they're the ones I know that they love having parents in and being able to help. And once again, sometimes they're definitely an extra hand that can come in and help and do a lot of things. Like I said, my experience has been, when you do that, you're right, you have it organized, you have a sign-in sheet, you make sure, and typically they show up and say, hey, I'm here to help, what do you need me to do? And then from there, you just run with it, and then you end up having those rock star parents that can come in and they're just a great asset, to the campus. So I think that's something that we can certainly open back up, moving forward into the fall.
Now that it's more feasible, I think that it's brilliant to let the parents come back in and have lunch with their kids. I think that's fantastic.
Okay, awesome.
We'll go to item number 9, annual announcement of board training hours. Under State Board of Education rule, completing required continuing education each year of service is a basic obligation and expectation of any sitting board member. As board president, I am required to announce the name of each member who has completed the required continuing education, has exceeded the required continuing education, and is deficient in meeting the required continuing education. The requirement for trainings are measured as of the first anniversary of the date of the trustee's election or appointment or 2-year anniversary of his or her previous training as applicable. There are 7 training areas for board members' continuing education. 1, local district orientation. 2, orientation to the Texas Education Code. 3, post-legislative update to the Texas Education Code. 4, team building. 5, additional continuing education. 6, evaluating student academic performance and setting goals. 7, identifying and reporting abuse, trafficking, and other maltreatment of children. 8, school safety. To the extent applicable to each board member, I will announce the completion of deficiency as to required training. For members who still have time remaining to complete required training, I will announce those board members who have scheduled timely training and those who have not yet scheduled the training. At the conclusion of this announcement, I will announce any board members' training in excess of the continuing education requirements. Local district orientation. The following first-year board members have time remaining to complete the local district orientation and have not yet scheduled this training. Katie D. Instead of, I would butcher your last name. Orientation to the Texas Education Code. The following first-year board members have time remaining to complete the orientation to the Texas Education Code and have not yet scheduled this training. Katie. Post-legislative update for the Texas Education Code. The following board members have completed the post-legislative update to the Texas Education Code. Tasha Gore, Amber Dady Crafton, Greg Hoffman, Joe Russell, Kirby Sansom. The following board members have time remaining to complete the post-legislative update to the Texas Education Code and have not yet scheduled this training. Jay Leonard and Katie. Team building. The following board members have completed the annual team building training. Tasha Gore, Amber Dady Crafton, Greg Hoffman, Joe Russell, Kirby Sansom, Gerald Leonard, Katie. Additional continuing education. The following board members have completed the additional continuing education requirements. Tasha Gore, Amber Dady Crafton, Greg Hoffman, Joe Russell, Kirby Sansom. The following board members have time remaining to complete the additional continuing education requirements and have not yet scheduled this training. Katie. The following board members are deficient in meeting the additional continuing education requirements. Jay Leonard. Evaluating student academic performance and setting goals. The following board members have completed the biannual training on evaluating student academic performance and setting goals. Tasha Gore, Amber Dady Crafton, Greg Hoffman, Joe Russell, Kirby Sansom, Jay Leonard, Katie. Identifying and reporting abuse, trafficking, and other maltreatment of children. The following board members have completed the biennial training on identifying and reporting abuse and trafficking. Tasha Gore, Amber Dady Crafton, Greg Hoffman, Joe Russell, Kirby Sansom. The following board members are deficient in meeting the required biennial training on identifying and reporting abuse and trafficking. Jay Leonard. The following board members have time remaining to complete the biennial training on identifying and reporting abuse and trafficking and have not yet scheduled this training. Katie. School safety. The following board members have completed the biennial training on school safety. Tasha Gore, Amber Dady Crafton, Greg Hoffman, Kirby Sansom, Jay Leonard. The following board members have scheduled training to timely complete the biennial training on school safety. Joe Russell. The following board members have time to complete the biennial training on school safety and have not yet scheduled this training. Katie. Exceeding required continuing education. Amber Dady Crafton, total additional hours 12. Joe Russell, total additional hours 11. Kirby Sansom, total additional hours 12. Tasha Gore, total additional hours 12. Gregory Hoffman, total additional hours 10. And that's it. I know that was exciting. Very exciting. And we'll go to item number 9, executive session at 6:50 PM. Oh, thanks, Amber. For 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, 551.082, and 551.0821. We'll go to item number 11, reconvene from executive session at 7:52 PM. Go to item number 12, consent agenda. Did anybody have anything they wanted to ask about the consent agenda? No? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a go ahead, Greg.
I'll make a motion that we pass consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Greg, second by Amber. All in favor? Go to item number 13, consider approval of expenditure for ProCare.
That's me, if you all don't mind if I sit here. Thank you. Good evening, President Gore, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Torres. This is a consider approval of purchase for ProCare therapy. This contract period is for 1 year, not to exceed $35,000, and it will be coming from our budgeted federal funds. The contract service is for contracted special education teacher and paraprofessional to implement student IEPs.
Did anybody have any questions on that? No? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure for ProCare.
A motion by Amber. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kirby. All in favor? Motion carries. Go to item number 14, consider sale of real property to Texas Department of Transportation, including value of property.
Yes, it's me again. So the Texas Department of Transportation has offered to acquire some property at 108 East US Highway 67. The department is authorized to offer $232,212 for the property. And if we were able to close within 30 days after execution, an additional $26,000 could be coming to the district if we meet the qualifications within the 30 days. I did speak to some other experts in our industry in the area, and whenever a government is offering to purchase a property, it is typically offered at the fair market value, which we do believe that this is the case in this situation. We could request to do a quick appraisal of the property to ensure our interest. We do believe it would take longer than 30 days to acquire all that documentation and research, and we could stand to lose the $26,000 additional. So we do feel it's probably in our best benefit just to move forward and execute the contract and try to sign and get it complete within the 30 days. As you know, the Texas Department of Transportation does have the right to obtain this property at market value if so they choose. So right now we do have it's probably the best case scenario if we move forward.
And Mr. Dubner's looked at the contract?
We have not shared it with him. We can move to share it with him after this. We read through all the details of the contract and consulted with some outside experts and determined just with particular to the land sale, just to make sure that the contract from the Texas Department of Transportation was in line with other land sales. So we did explore that avenue.
And I will say, we visited with him, but we didn't send him the full contract. When I told him the information that we had, he said, that's it, that's up to the executive, no matter what. Even when he said, do it, I said, you need to send all that over to him. He said, no.
Yeah, they can, as Dr. Torres said, take the property through eminent domain due to their government status. So I think we would receive the best price if we're able to execute within the 30 days.
Anybody else have any questions? No? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to consider sale of real property to Texas Department of Transportation, including value of property, Texas Government Code Section 551072, deliberating the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property.
I'll second.
Motion by Kirby, second by Amber. All in favor? Motion carries. Go to item number 15. Consider approval of teacher contracts for 24-25 school year.
I'll make a motion to approve the teacher contracts for the 24-25 school year.
A motion by Amber. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kirby. All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 16, consider approval to give the superintendent authority to hire contract personnel from April 16th, 2024 through August 31st, 2024.
I'll make a motion to consider approval to give the superintendent authority to hire contract personnel from April 16th, 2024 through August 31st, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion by Kirby, a second by Amber. All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 17, consider approval of appointment of election judge for the general election on May 4th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to consider approval of appointment of election judge for the general election on May 4th, 2024.
A motion was made by Kirby, second by Katie. All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 18, consider approval of P20 redesign plan for Venus Middle School. Dr. Morgan?
Sorry. It's just hiding out in the corner. Okay, hello everyone. So I just wanted to, first of all, introduce to you Kim Mauser over here from the Collegiate Education. She has been serving this year as our coach, our implementation specialist from CEN, working very closely with the elementary school. And the elementary school is in year one of it's year 1 of 2 of the continuation grant. So last year we went through this process with elementary, and now they are implementing their redesign. And so Kim is the coach for the elementary school. And so next year she will serve in that capacity as for the middle school as well. So this should be very familiar to most of you from last year. That is the P20 redesign plan that we have developed on behalf of the Venus Middle School. If you can go forward. So just a reminder, our P20 model plan is all about college and career readiness for all students. What can we do? How can we redesign how we teach students what they need to learn in order to be ready for college and career? Not by the time they graduate high school, but by the time they enter high school. Because remember, P-TECH is really the culmination of the P20 model. And so we really want to be thinking very intentionally and critically about how we prepare students for college and career readiness. And so our big buckets, our model elements that we've adopted throughout the district are, of course, the 4 C's: blended learning, age-appropriate research, because we want kids actively inquiring throughout all of their learning. STEM is a major part of that because that just lends itself to that higher level thinking and problem solving. And then, of course, leading into the P-TECH in high school. All right, we can move on. So these are the pieces of the P20 model that we are incorporating into how we do instruction, teaching and learning here in Venus ISD. So like I said, college and career readiness for all students, age-appropriate research, experiential inquiry-based learning, blended learning, AVID, CTE, and then of course the P-TECH. Okay, we can move on. Just a quick summary, and I think I went over this a couple of months ago in a different report. So we have been able to do a lot of this work because of grants we've received, which are all leading to this redesign so that our kids are ready for college and career. So we are, the summer of 2020, this summer, we are expecting to receive the School Action Fund 2-year implementation grant to implement the P20 redesign at the middle school, and we'll implement that beginning in the fall of 2024. Okay? So you should have received a packet, which is the P20 redesign plan. It's pretty long. It's about almost 50 pages, so I thought maybe we won't read through that whole thing together. So I just wanted to summarize the highlights of it, and of course, if you have any questions over any of it, please feel free to ask. So it's divided into 6 parts, and what happened throughout this whole school year is Ms. Buck and I worked with our CEN partner, Dr. Rachel McLean, to work through each of these pieces and think about what do we need to do at the middle school to really have a plan that's going to allow Ms. Buck to lead her campus in all of these things and move student performance to higher levels. So if you want to move forward, leadership and planning is pretty easy when you have good, strong campus leaders. And so what that section of the plan really just lays out is that The district departments are working hard to support the campus leaders and teachers, and that the campus leader prioritizes positive culture, student safety, academic growth, effective instructional practices, and teacher development. And through core leadership tasks, is able to maintain an emphasis on those pieces. Because if we're going to have kids ready for college and career, they have to have good instruction. And the only way they're going to have good instruction is if the campus leadership team is really monitoring and providing training and supporting and giving teachers feedback. Okay, we can move on. So teaching and instructional strategies is the second section of the plan. And it's really all about how we find teachers, recruit them, hire them, assign them where they're best fit to meet student needs, and then give them professional learning that they need. And so we've because of the elementary redesign last year, we've already made changes to make sure that we are giving teachers the training they need in the instructional materials, the instructional strategies that are going to help move students forward. And then the third piece of that is that multi-tiered system of support, so that we're not just addressing academics, because our students are children who have lots of humanity, around them and in them. It's not the best way to say it. But what I mean by that is they're not just students here to learn reading and math, right? They have emotions. They have mental health that some are strong, some are not strong. They have needs, social needs, their well-being. So we want to look at the students from all of those aspects. Some people call it the whole child. And so that multi-tier system of support is making sure that we address all of their needs for the kids who need more, the kids who have what they need, and the kids who are just ready to go. Okay, we're gonna move on. The third piece of the redesign plan is school culture. So positive behavior intervention system and CHAMPS are the two pieces that build the school culture or create the culture at the middle school. Those things aren't changing. Ms. Buck is just reinforcing those pieces that she's already had been putting into place. A new piece, though, for social emotional learning is the 7 Mindsets program, which we're gonna talk about in just a minute. Ms. Mayo is gonna talk a little bit about that as well. And that is a curriculum that addresses kids' social and emotional learning. And then family and community engagement is a big piece of the P20 redesign, because we want our families, we want our community involved in what's happening in the schools. Okay? The fourth piece is high quality instructional materials and assessments. You've heard me talk about this a lot. This year we have firmly established that STEM Scopes Math is our math curriculum, kindergarten through 8th grade. HMH into Literature is our English program. And then we are also going to be purchasing social studies curriculum so that they have high quality materials. And then science, we are in the process of the statewide adoption for science. And so we'll have more for you on science next month. And then our research-based instructional strategies, these are all strategies that really help teachers think about the why. Why is it so important that we use these good complex texts when we're teaching English and reading? Why is it so important that we teach kids in math, not just the concepts, but the why the math concepts are what they are? So that's what the research-based instructional strategies are. Okay, and then the actual redesign for the middle school. Most of the stuff on here is not very new, because Ms. Buck has already been working very hard to implement a lot of these pieces at the middle school. But what this grant has allowed her to do is really elevate some of those pieces and also bring in one new element across the campus, which is problem or project-based learning. And so she has had her teachers working on a pilot of that for the rest of this year. They had their training back on our March PD day. And so problem or project-based learning is really about getting kids to learn what we need to learn, but through the activities, through the projects that they're building, through the problems that they're trying to solve. And so it's interdisciplinary, so they're making connections, like, why is this math problem, what does this have to do with science, what does it have to do with English? And so the teachers are working together to collaborate to really help kids think about learning in that real world way of learning, which is really exciting. So that is really the big change for the middle school, and we'll keep moving that forward. We already have STEM, blended learning, AVID, those things are already in place, and so this P20 is really just pulling it all together. Okay, and we can go forward. And then finally, the last piece is just the governance that we are partnered with CEN, and that's an agreement that we sign each year. There is a school performance agreement that basically says as a district, we want to continue to support the campus to implement this redesign and make decisions for the campus. And so it would really apply if we had like 2 or 3 middle schools, but each one was doing a little bit differently, and this middle school wants to do it this way. But since we just have one, that doesn't come into play so much, but we definitely want to continue empowering our campus leaders to make decisions for their campus that are going to keep moving kids forward. And then, of course, aligning the budget to the redesign plan, making sure we prioritize. If we say STEM is a priority, then prioritizing that in the budget. And I think that might be the last page. So there is a link if you wanted to see it online. It's the same the long packet that I was talking to you about. Okay, I know I talked a lot. Are there any questions? Okay.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the P20 redesign plan for the middle school.
Motion by Amber. Do we have a second? Second by Katie. All in favor? Motion carries. Number 19, consider approval of 7 Mindset Solutions purchase. Dr. Morgan, or who's?
I'll start.
Okay.
If you have SEL questions, I think Dr. Morgan would be their best resource. So we wanted to bring to you this contract. It's a 1-year contract with an option for a 1-year annual renewal. Currently, the funding source will be out of our school action fund. And then in the next fiscal year, we will use school action fund continuation or LASSO school action fund implementation. So both years will be funded out of grant funds, not to exceed $49,999.
Item 20, consider approval of budget amendments to the 23-24 General Fund and Child Nutrition Fund.
The first we can discuss is the general fund budget amendment. You'll see a few items there as kind of the time of the year it presents itself for some changing as departments and campuses are cleaning up their budgets and getting things into the right place in preparation for year end. In one area, we have a transfer of $212 to correctly code for TASSP travel changes. We also wonderfully received a grant from the Texas Commission of the Arts. It's not really a grant. They just offered to pay for part of the expense for the Magic Theater from San Antonio as they present their play, Carmela, Full of Wishes. So they had added $1,368. So we increased revenue and expense budget there to support that program. So we were really thrilled to receive that for our library services. And then we're transferring, I know we've been discussing our end of the year travel. So part of our TAFE travel changes, we've isolated some funding in the current budget to move, and we just want to get it into the correct place so we can properly code those travel expenses. And so those are the 3 items that you see there with the general fund. And then in the second page is the Child Nutrition Fund. And so I just want to take just a little bit to talk about this. I know this has been an item in the past that has to be, but as you know, with the Texas Department of Agriculture, the Child Nutrition Fund can only carry 3 months of expenditures in their fund balance. So anything over that has to be expensed because then it becomes a situation where it might be for profit, and so we're making sure we're expending that. So this year, as you know, we're going to do a presentation next month to talk more in detail, but we went full CEP, so we're able to offer all of our students a free breakfast and a free lunch. So we're really proud of that, and we've been doing some work to promote that with our campuses so that our families know that that is a service we offer. It's been successful this year. I mean, we were kind of stepping out into a new area, so we've been proud, and we'll bring some numbers to show you the success and data of that next month. But with that said, we are going to have to review our budget. And so one way we're doing that isn't reflected here, that'll come in a future amendment as we get the details ironed out, is TEA allows districts to charge an indirect cost rate to federal funds in the district. And what those indirect cost rates do is pay for services like finance and the other services like the business office supports and other offices like Mr. Gatewood's area that goes to support these programs. Our work is funded out of the general fund, and it isn't portioned out to all the grants where we do all these hours of work. So to compensate the general fund for that work, we were able to charge a approved rate from TEA to increase revenue in the general fund to support the work that we do. It's very common practice in districts. I'm unsure why we haven't done that here in the past, but we're going to implement that this year with our auditor's recommendation. And so there will be some of the funding will come out of student nutrition, which will work on the buy down of the fund balance. They have a very successful program, and Ms. McCormick and I work very closely together. She's an amazing director and has done a fantastic job. Some of the planned expenditures are set to include a refrigerated truck. When we move items from one campus to another, they're not in a protected environment for temperature. So that's an item that's common in school districts our size, so we're exploring that. We had a milk box go out at one of the campuses, so we're replacing that. It's just the cooler where the milk goes, just self-explanatory. There's another a heating service cabinet where you put items in on one side and then they can serve through the other. And we'll explain many of these in detail when we present to you next month. But right now we're just asking for the budget. We will have to come back and ask for you for the contracts if anything obviously exceeds $25,000 or more. And then anything that is $50,000 or more has to go for competitive bid, and you'll see all of that documentation as well.
Can you, and you may not know now the answer, but do you know how much the refrigerated truck is?
I believe, I do, I have an estimate, I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
I think right now they're looking, it's about $70,000. It sort of looks like it's like a small white truck, like a small Sprinter van, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. It's not giant, it's small, but it would be able to safely transport our food back and forth.
But we would get more information on that next month.
Yes,
Gotcha.
that item would have to be competitively bid, so you would see all the documentation, all the pictures, all the quotes, and everything that goes along with that purchase.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Did anybody have any questions? Nope, okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the budget amendments to the 2023-24 General Fund and Child Nutrition Fund.
Okay, a motion by Katie. Do we have a second? Second by Greg. All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 22, consider approval of matters related to personnel resignations, employment, position, or contract amendments.
I'll make a motion to consider approval of matters related to personnel, resignations, employment, position, or contract amendments.
Okay, a motion by Kirby. Do we have a second? Second by Katie. All in favor? Motion carries. We'll go to item number 23, reports.
Just to kind of summarize, we've had some more celebrations here earlier today, recognizing our kids, and then having some, our Girl Scouts come and recognized. We really appreciate that. Just a couple items. About 25 days of instruction left in the school day, and as you've heard this evening, there's a lot of things going on right now. Super busy time of the year, but a really good time of the year, and we're able to celebrate our kids from state assessments that we've got going on this week and next week as well. We'll have our state assessments, and then just the success of our kids, whether it's in the academic realm, ag, choir. I mean, we've heard athletics, a lot of good things going on here as we go into these last weeks of school and get ready for testing in next year. So If you haven't looked at our event calendar, make sure you take a look at that. There's plenty of things to come out and see and be a part of in the next 25 days that we have. So we're going to keep on going, finishing strong. That's all we got.
Anybody else have anything?
Just kind of the burning finance question. I know we've been talking about our deficit, and I just wanted to share just a little bit with you. We've been working in great detail, reviewing all of our funding sources in every single federal fund that we have, making sure Mr. Gatewood and Dr. Morgan, we've been working really closely together to get those things organized to make sure that we're effectively using all funding sources that the district has. And so we are beginning to mitigate that gap that we were seeing in deficit, and so I'm very hopeful of that. We've been going line by line through the general fund budget, and I've begun meeting with departments for next fiscal year and really making sure that we're very efficient. We're looking at staffing and all those details. So I know that I haven't brought you a budget amendment to reflect those changes, but I just want you to be aware that we're working very, I'm a little behind. I wish I was, could tell you right now, and I know next year it'll be a little more timely, but we are working closely into all that detail.
No, ma'am, just blessed to be here and happy to serve.
We're glad you're here. We'll move to item number 24, board request for additional items. Next scheduled board meeting date. Does anybody have any request for additional items?
Okay, we have that May 20th and May 13th.
Yeah, May 13th will be the day that we'll set to canvass the votes after the election. And then our regular board meeting will be on May the 20th.
Okay, do you have any idea what time you think that might be?
I would say 6 o'clock unless y'all have a different time, but I think that works for everybody.
I'm good with 6. Yeah, I think so.
The personal note, being as next month it will be reorganizing and doing a few things. Because of vision, is there any way, since Jay won't be here, I can go from this spot to that one over there and see the screen a lot easier?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
That note and
sounds good, yeah. All right.
have any discussion on that, and it's a lot easier.
Yep. Okay. Anybody else have anything?
I do, but I don't really know how to ask it. I would like to, we've talked a couple times in the last couple of years about looking at our daycare as opening it up to the public and then opening it year round. I would like to see what it would take to see if that is even something that we could do. Because with the town not having a daycare, I think there's some income that could be made there. And it would, because and this might be for you, Miss Mayo, can you tell me, not today, but what we are, are we in the red? Because years before we have been in the red, we don't even break even, or we just barely break even, where we don't have, we're just covering expenditures and that.
I would have to do, because I think for the last 2 years, the child care has been supported by a grant from the state of Texas, and we're no longer receiving that grant. So I'd have to see what the impact is for this year. But if we want to add it as a future agenda item, I can add those figures and bring that information for more review.
Anybody else have anything? No? Okay, so we will go to item number 25, adjourn at 8:22 p.m.